Yeah.
Order filled, check us out.
You know what time it is.
This is Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it.
How you guys doing? I'm Andy with my amazing guest, Jtrader, with us today. And without even getting too much into this, I'm just going to bring him up on the screen for you guys. How you doing this morning, Jay?
Hello, Andy. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
I say good. I say how you doing this morning, but over where you're at, it's not morning anymore, right?
Yeah, it's basically 5 p.m. So, I'm the European side over here. Smallest, actually, it's not a small republic, but the oldest republic in the world, San Marino.
Yeah, my brother was just telling me this morning that over there, apparently, you guys have stricter guidelines for your food, so you have healthier food, less chemicals and stuff.
Yes, especially Italy, among all the UE countries, because we don't have, on our food pesticides or OGM stuff. So, and also personally, I try to eat as much as healthy as possible. So everything almost organic.
So I don't know if you know, but me, I mostly have live streamed my trading and my trading journey. Not necessarily trying to teach people, but just sharing whatever I see in the market and what I'm learning as I'm learning it. And if I'm doing something stupid, I let people know, whatever it is, whatever mistakes I'm making, I'll tell people right then and there, I did something really stupid, guys, whatever it is. And a lot of the guys in our live stream, I've told them, you were one of the people I've recommended them to go over and check out, that you might have some really good. I've heard a lot of good things about your trading education. But if you don't mind going into it, what even brought you to this to begin with, Jay? Like, how did you even get interested in trading?
Two phases in my life. One, when I was 18, 19, and I was having, first of all, the cousin of my mom. He was one of the top traders in New York, and I was very small. And I always used to see him, like going the tickers on the banks and looking at the tickers, this back in the 90s. Then when I was like 17, 18, 19, I used to have like older friends, and they were cops because that is a policeman over here in San Marino. And they were always looking, at the newspaper. They were making some money, losing some money. Then one day I remember this guy, Raffaele. I think like he bought a Rolex with, investment profits. And I was 18, like I still have dreams about cars, a nice house and everything. And I decided like, okay, let's give it a try. So that was my first time that I was introduced to market. In Italy, it was a time that we were still in the lira. And then we were going to move to euro in 2001. There was, like this transition. And the market, there was a market like tech market was in a maximum explosion in Italy of the tech bubble that then like ended 2001, 2002, and lately 2003 simply collapsed.
Yeah, for me, I would say it was right about 2009. I'd always been interested. I told the teacher, we were in class, a long time ago, for me now, but in class, and they had brought the newspaper and they said to pick some stocks, and we'd all pick some stocks, and I'd done relatively well with whatever we were doing, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. And fast forward to 2009, that's when I got really interested because Ford Motor Company pulled back, but they stayed alive, and I was like, this has gotta do good, because they're staying alive. Somewhere in, I don't know what year Ford was back then.
2008, yeah.
Right. And then, I started getting into these emails. I didn't even know what a pump and dump scheme was. I didn't know what any of that was, but I started getting all these emails telling me about these stocks. It was like, oh, Conagra Foods is merging with this. This is going to be the biggest thing ever. And I'm like, well, look at this, Sarah. Look how much money I could make. I could make this much. If I would have bought here at 99 cents, I would have been able to sell at $3.20. And we would have had, and I'm doing the math, And then I'm doing the math as to if I do this one this time and this one next time and this one next time, how fast we're going to get like really rich doing this, get the cars, the watches, whatever it is. And I was a fan for the longest time. I was just looking into, just watching those pump and dump schemes, whatever they were. And then I had this one Spherix, and I don't think they exist anymore. They changed their ticker, but that was one of the ones that I was like, man, this is moving all the time. Like we gotta mess around with this. So finally I started, putting my money into it, getting into day trading, doing it every day. So when you started, were you day trading? Were you swing trading? Just trying to invest? How did that work?
Okay, when I was doing early 2000, I was just like day trading and scalping mostly at the Italian market. That's it. 90% were cover warrants, so contracts that move based on the underlying stock. For example, I was trading Banca Intesa in Italy or Mediaset, whatever, and who had like cover warrants that basically are something like options. And that time I had like, I would say, an awesome trading system. And I was basing this trading system on J lines, but it was a little bit more complex. So a lot of these stocks, often they could give like, shadows during the day that were pretty liquid. So sometimes you could like really see jumps on the tape, and we were getting these micro moves. And then, of course, if the stock was moving, for example, let's say 0.3%, the cover warrant could move like 5 to 30%. So that was the type of trading I was doing. But remember, these cover warrants were not like issued by the SEC, so by the government. And in Italy, we have the Consob. No, they were from the banks. So imagine that there was really not a law, a rule of engagement. And a lot of times, these banks used to put like the price they want. They used to tell you, "Oh, I'm cutting volatility," or for this market reason. So let's say they should have paid 50%. They maybe were like giving you nothing, or maybe even giving a loss. So a lot of time had like to deal with the Consob to report these, like we say, unethical and unjustified, I would say, update of price. Then I decided eventually to move to the market, to the US market, at least from 2006 until 2014-15. After that, I took a break for a little bit of years. I think 2-3 years, I only swing invested. And I was basically, I would say, burnt out, because I was doing that like 15 years in a row. Over here where I live in Italy, I became, I would say, quite famous. They invited me like in many conferences to talk, like seminars and webinars. So I share my experience. And those 15 years were very, very good, but it was a different type of market. When I started then moving back 2017, 18, and to I would say mostly only to the American market, and I started to read about penny stocks. Before I didn't know anything about the penny stocks. In Italy, we don't have really a volatile market like that. So it's pretty different. That's the reason why before I was trading more FTSE and DAX, so the futures in European markets. When I moved to the penny stocks, I was like, okay, what is this? Because I was a trend following trader. So I was like, buying the dip when it's like pulling back in an uptrend and selling it into the run. And now over here, I was seeing that the majority of these penny stocks, and I took a little bit to figure out this, they just like pump and eventually they dump. And then of course, there are like different criterias, for my runner, micro float, SSR, everything about this is totally different from the normal way that you will trade, for example, Tesla or Bob on Apple. And I used to receive not emails like you say, but a lot of, I would say, newsletters or like opinions from other traders. Buy this penny stock, it will run like 1,000%. Now you see this with crypto, oh, the next 10 pair, the next 50 pair, everything is so damn rich. And then I said, why I cannot do that, right? I joined 4-5 chat room 2016, 2017, and become a millionaire, trading millions overnight or whatever these things were, buying the breakouts. And I said, wow, I'm so like, pumped. I'm going to do this. And I need to do anything else in my life. And basically what I saw is that 90% was fluff. So I learned in the second part of my life through losses, through frustration, no, but just like putting up my sleeve and working hard and trying to figure out what was working in the market. So what were the chart patterns? A lot of traders just get to the trading and they think, like in 1 month you will get rich, or you follow these alerts, you're gonna get rich. Nobody's like that. I don't teach that. You don't teach that. And for me, it just like have to be honest. I was basically have done millions in my first 15 years. And then I was passing to trade like, 200-300K in a position to trade like maybe 5K in a position. Imagine yourself, you were making like 4 or 5K in a day before 2014-15. And then through various things, I opened also another company. I passed when I started like trading small caps. Maybe I was making like $50 a day. So it's like, it's like Hamilton in Formula One that goes with the Mercedes. And then the year after, he drives like, a Fiat Punto or a Fiat 500. So a little bit different. But, I had to be humble. I had to work hard. I had to pull up my sleeves. I didn't do like a lot of these new traders or people who just get into market. They expect to have results in 2 months, because that's simply stupid. And I always say, Andy, just think about this. I mean, you want to become a basketball player. You want to become, even if you like yourself, if you want to get enrolled in the Army, if you want to become a good, I would say, lawyer, it takes years, right, to develop skills. It takes years to go to school to educate yourself. So why trading shouldn't be any different? Why have to become good in 2 months of trading? It's true that you can have, some very good knowledge as soon as you join the right people, or you follow the right people, or you study the right things, but it's just take time to develop those skills. And I always say that me and you maybe can be different, because you can read a book, I can read a book, maybe in 2 weeks you learn it by memory. Maybe it takes 2 years. So that's my opinion about trading.
Well, that brings me to a question that I would like to ask you. Maybe we just get into it right now. Me, for example, whenever I read something, I have to reread it and reread it. It doesn't get in my head. It's like a ADD type thing. And then even the tickers, like they'll go backwards all the time. I'm reading these tickers backwards. And we one of the things that I've gravitated to doing, I'm here for veterans, anybody who served, police, firefighters, whatever it is we can help. But I also would really like to help those that are disabled as much as possible, have a place to go, have something to do, have a purpose that they can feel like they're included and part of every single day. So as far as like hard work and discipline, do you have any advice that you would give to those that are really struggling with pain or some sort of limitation from a disability, on how they can start doing that one step at a time and getting to that place in their life?
Yeah, of course. Everybody in life has some, I would say, pain. Who has, I would say, difficulties like money problems? Who has like maybe like invalidity or like, physical issues? Who has like a sick people in the family? So if we would like just simply cry on ourselves because the faith, God, or the word or something like just did something to us, all right? We just simply like, we'll stay in bed, not see anybody, and just simply cry all day. But until we have breath in our lungs, we are, I would say, able to do everything we want. Maybe we'll be limited in the sense that, of course, I had a surgery, maybe I can walk, but I still have my mind. Until you have that and you have a passion for something, there's nothing really can stop you. And I really believe that the first thing you have to say is you believe in yourself. You maybe will be like, frustrated because maybe it's like 1 year you're trading and you don't see any money. Or everybody around you is against you. Maybe your wife, your boyfriend, or whoever tells you, no, you cannot do this. You will fail. Why? Because maybe they failed. And the third thing that I would say is write down what you want to do, what you want to achieve, how you will achieve it. So make a plan. And then every single morning you wake up, reinstate this thought inside yourself. So it becomes like something, I would say, in your subconscious, that you think about this thing all the time. And it's basically like breathing. If you have this kind of passion for becoming rich or trading or becoming a great trader, work for a firm, whatever you would like to do, then there's really no limitation. And I always believed in this. I'm not the most smartest guy in the world. I've been talking lately to some really smart minds in the last, I would say, 2 years. I met a lot of people in the trading business, but even, just like about business. I made my money, but there are people who made like 100 times more money than me. So what I do, I try to learn from them. If I want to learn, for example, to play basketball, I will get, one of the best coaches out there. I know that I'm not talented, I'm not that high, but I can be the best for myself. This is what you want to be. And a lot of traders just get, to trading. Oh, I want to be like, I don't know. I want to be like Andy. I want to be like, I don't know, him. I want to be like that. He made millions. He made that. Think about yourself, just the first thing, when already you're trading and you can be profitable, it gives you so much dopamine, because when you do something and you had procrastinate. So the hardest things was, and that would say the longer time that you waited for this to achieve, then when you will achieve it, you will feel so much joy inside yourself. And that's so powerful. And I love this stuff. I really loved it. And I try to incorporate this mentality in everything I did in my life. I did martial arts. I did like boxing. I did like music for 12 years. I was doing essays in front of people. I was still small, not like Chopin. I did a company. I would say, success in everything I did. Why? Because of this mentality. Why? Because I was sleeping 6 hours a day and working for the remaining hours. All my life was dedicated to that. Girlfriend came second. Other things came second. Going out with friends came second. I wanted to make money. Now I can say, oh, wow, what I have. And people look at me, maybe they're like saying, oh, what do you have? Like they're jealous. When they were partying at 22 years old, I was working until 3 a.m. in the morning because I love to do what I was doing. I know that the charts and reviewing them like 2,000 hours, really something like this. And I remember because my father, he was coming home from the police service in the morning, and I was still there, but I was sleeping by them, 19 and 20. I was still there studying. And I see traders, they want to dedicate 1 hour a day and look, one streaming, and they think they're going to be profitable. I mean, anybody can guide you if he knows what he's doing, but then you have to put the work in. So there will be like dreamers, and there will be like, instead, who realizes things, who puts really like forth to do these things.
For me, in order to temper those dreams like that, what I came up with a way for myself that I instead of going for one big moonshot in my trades, I decided to break it up into like 10 trades. So if I'm looking to make $100, instead I'm trying to make $10 10 times, and then I can limit my risk easier, and I'm not so emotionally attached to that one trade rather than my having a successful day. Did you start like your position sizing? Is that a big thing for your risk management? How do you manage your risk in such a volatile asset like penny stocks?
All right. The first thing I do every single time I take a trade is I measure my potential risk versus my potential profit. So everything that I trade has rules, chart patterns. So not that I simply read, the price section. I have really like, targets, systematic targets based on, I would say, my trading strategy. And at the same time, I have like stop loss. If I see that I have 1-to-1 R, so I'm stopping one and I'm having one, I'm not going to take the trade. My average, for example, in the big caps, since the starting of the year is 3.2, 3.15 R. And that's good. Everything above 2.5 possible a profit R, I will take the trade. So for me, it's not, I enter a trade, I don't know I'm not going to risk. I don't know how much I'm going to risk. I don't know where's the potential target. Everything has to be calculated, It's like, I don't know, when a big company makes a merger. It's not, oh, I will make a merger. Yeah, let's make a merger. No, you have to calculate. What are the new clients you will get? What are the new markets you will achieve or you enter? What is the possible, I would say, impact on the market? Will people like this? So you try to calculate everything. You do a forecasting. So you have to do a forecasting, and this takes time. The more you do the forecasting, the better you will know which stocks will tend to fade, which stocks will tend like to run. So everything has to be analytical. Trading right now is not, trading when I started 2000. Trading right now is statistics and data, at least for me, if you want to have an edge. So that's why I'm really a big fan of, automated trade system or algos, everything that can give you an edge versus the market.
Well, that's one of the things that I tell anybody that I'm telling them they might want to check out, the small cap room, is basically everything you're looking into all these different factors, short sale restriction, institutional ownership. Like we have a guy, Jeremy, that comes over here and he tells us, he says, did you look at the institutional ownership? Did you look at, he's bringing this knowledge with him just by his own analysis now. And I find it amazing that you pay attention to all this. Like you look into a 13D, you know what to look for in a news filing. If you don't mind, I digress really quick into that. Do you still look as much into the news, or are you just looking more into what the institutional ownership is and stuff like that?
That's a very good question. It's more technical. So before 2016, 17, I didn't have any kind of idea about how much the institutional ownership, how much the float, the SSR, the filings would impact a stock. Because I was trading before, as I said, between 2015 and 17, mostly swinging investments. And before I was doing mainly like, normal big caps and futures. So why do you care about if Tesla or Apple has high or low institutional ownership? I mean, they're going to move the same. Instead, when I started like trading penny stocks, nobody spoke about this. I'm very humble, so I recognize and I always say thanks to who gave me something. One was Rick Analog, because he's a beast in filings. I think he's the best out one there. I studied so many others, and I don't want to make the names, but what they gave me was only a big confusion. Then I said Modern Rock, because I liked the way that he traded with price action. I also was in 3 or 4 chat rooms to learn in the beginning, and I was seeing that the system that they were trading was not like for me. And I was a big believer at the time in the news, and reading the news would be important because everybody was saying, oh, read the news, read the news, read the news, okay? I was doing that for big caps, often upgrades and all this stuff, they pump and dump as well, so sell the news scenario. And then I find out later on that the more I was digging into filings and all this stuff, it gives you an idea, right? If the company is toxic, if the company is going to eventually fail because they need to raise money through dilution, so they will make an offering, whatever. But the most important thing then for me was to mostly focus on my chart patterns, because by using them, so mostly technicals, I can bypass all the study that I have. So the question is, do I still look at institutional ownership, news, filing? Of course, yes. It's like I want to prepare myself like Hamilton prepares and studies the circuit he's gonna run on it, for weeks before he's on the road, he's driving. But then it's the performance that you have that day that counts. So it's the same thing for me. I'm going to study everything. I'm going to try to investigate as much as I can about the company. I'm going to know if they're in the garage, if they have 2 employees, if maybe they have a parrot instead of a secretary, whatever. The point is, at the end, I will just look at volume or the flow, price action, and chart pattern. That's it. When the 9:30 starts, it's me and the chart. All the other things often, they can give you so much more confusion. Oh, I won't short because that's SSR. No, there are some parameters that SSR dump much more than normal stock. Oh, I won't trade short if it's high institutional ownership. Well, basically, I would say more than 50% is true, but also there will be some institutional ownership high, they will simply dump. Remember, in the last few weeks, we had some high institutional ownership that really had a big gap, and then they start to dump. I remember the last one was ICPT, and had 80% institutional, and then in the morning came until I think 24, 25, and I simply didn't trade it because it was not in my stats, and then it dumped all the way down and then bounce in the evening. So for me, it's more like technicals.
So for me, it's I briefly brush up on everything I can as quick as I can if I'm trading small caps, trading penny stocks. I want to know a big one for me is money in the news. Is there money in the news? The money in the news gets me a little excited. It may have got me more excited a couple of years ago though, because now I don't even know if we have a penny stock market anymore. But it's changed quite a bit in the last year from what I'm seeing. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, but it just
I say from the COVID time, the volume that we have in the market, the penny stocks, like, quadrupled. Before we were having like, big gap days, maybe we have traded like 50 million. Now you have big gap days, they can trade like 450, 500 millions. So now a lot of our millennials, a lot are not like day traders for life. A lot of like investors, maybe who's home still, wants to make some money. So gets, a first like imprinting on penny stocks, try to trade them. And they generally only long. The majority of these traders long. That's the reason why we have in a lot of these stocks, a lot of bag holders. I've been talking with a lot of traders, like, they ask me questions, whatever. And I mean, you cannot believe, Andy, maybe you can, how many traders are stuck in long positions? Really? Because they follow gurus, I'm not a guru, I'm just a simple trader that makes errors and that makes maybe a little bit more better things than errors. But I see like a lot of these gurus that are calling trades out. And then I have really like a lot of traders that I spoke to it. They're like stuck. Oh, I'm stuck at 3 over there. I'm stuck at 4 there. Since when? 1 year. What's the price? I'm losing 50%. I'm losing 70%. I'm losing my wife. She doesn't want me anymore. So the point is this, like, I mean, wake up, money is not easy. So if you don't use this to make money, don't believe that somebody else will give you money. And the point is, one is who alerts, one is who teaches how you can make money, because he's actually making money himself.
See, for me, I'm just trying to share whatever I see in the market. I've seen too much go wrong with people that are making claims about what they're making and stuff. And I feel like that lures people in a little bit. Now, sharing actual success of your students like you do, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's something you're sharing, something where you've actually helped somebody, and it's always good to be able to help out. Me and you both would agree. What I call it is, every time I look at a penny stock, basically, generally the first rule in penny stocks I say is, I'm up, they see me, I'm down. Expect that thing to pull back where it started, possibly even lower and lower. One time I got into XBIO, I was a bag holder. This thing had went up. I started making a lot of money real quick. In a blink of an eye, it was gone. Because I was anchored to that profit that I had. Then when it pulled back, I now felt entitled to that profit. So it's got to go back up, right? So then it pulls down more, and I'm like, oh man, I'm losing more than I was making. And what am I going to do? I'm going to average down. I'm going to put money into this loser. So I throw good money at a losing trade, and then it pulls down some more, and I'm like, I'm hopeless. My only hope now is to add more money to this loser. It breaks support. It goes down like, it went down. It went really down. I was just like, okay, this is a realization for me. This is a wake up. I can't be throwing good money at losing trades like this. And these stocks can do way more than we could ever imagine. You think, oh, it can never go lower than this. Oh, it can go lower. It can go way lower than that. Have you found yourself in any situation where you deer in the headlights? Obviously you're a trader, so every trader comes through that period.
I never had losses in my life. I always had wins, 100%. Buddy, everybody who will tell like you never experienced big losses or never traded, or just simply lying. Of course, I had losses, but my losses were never averaging down, never, more averaging up.
Well, I have
adding to a short, and that's really how I had my worst losses, because I was not really used to shorting extensions, because as I said, big caps and futures, I'm only all my life been trend following. So for me, getting into the penny stocks and trying to short the top, not the backside, the top, so when something was going up, trying to be, like Mr. Incredible, just give me like a lot of pain and a lot of suffer before I find out when I had to short. What you experience, buddy, I think it's normal. And I always say, until you don't close your position, your station, unrealized profits is like if you don't have any profit. So everybody does mistakes. Everybody gets in this. And I personally think that trading is mostly mental. And because learning a strategy can take, I would say by average, 1 week to 2 months. Then, of course, you can get better at price action, reversing bias, how to manage a position, and all these, I would say, nuances. So, okay. But otherwise, trading is very simple. When you learn your 3-4 trend lines, support, resistance, how it bounces, rejects, then you need only experience, and you need like really a big effort in calming down your emotions. So a big part of mine, if I can tell you, Andy, and this is really how basically I use it all my life. Uh, I'm making this podcast with you to give you some to the traders out there, that can bring home and they can try themselves. So I try to be very calm when I trade. And if you hear me sometimes in my live stream, I never get too excited. Maybe I can say, oh, wow, we did good. But I'm always calm inside, being that I lose, being that I win. I do a lot of, I would say, breathing every single morning when I wake up. And then I do a lot of like focusing on what I want to obtain. And then I do a little bit of meditation. You cannot do meditation if first you don't clear your mind and you, I would say, have a reset every single morning. You will feel so much energy and focus on what you have to do. It is like a killing process. I was doing this when I did Taekwondo, and my teacher was Korean. He's Korean. He's now the first one in the world, Mr. Chong Guan-so. He lives in Italy. And he used to train Marines in the war, between South Korea and North Korea back in the days. And he used to tell me these things. And I had him for 5 years. I had the pleasure, really the honor to have him. So he taught me like to breathe, to do my stretching, like to focus on what you want to achieve when you have like a fighting and in every aspect of life. So what I try to do is having this mentality in everything I do. Precise. It's like you in your battlefield, or you when you're in the army. So you try, I would say, the mind has to command the body, not emotions, not frustration, not like FOMO, not like greed. Do I still do errors? Of course, yes. I'm human. Okay, I'm not a robot. I would prefer to be a robot if it was only for work, just simple like cold motherfucker. The point is we're not. So sometimes we'll fuck up as well from time to time. It's normal. Just reset, reboot, nothing happened. You're still alive. You can trade until you have breath.
Yeah, that you'd actually started to answer one of the questions that we had. They wanted to know about your morning routine. I don't know if there's anything more you want to get into that. For me, yeah. I like to start with cold water on my shower. I don't want warm water, and just make sure I'm fully hydrated and stuff like that. Is there anything extra, anything more that you add?
Okay. I think everybody is different, and I like to hear these things, Andy. If you can tell me after a little bit more, I love to hear, the process of people, because I read everything and I saw all YouTube videos about the morning process of all the billionaires, of the people who had success out there. But I remain with what I do, what I love to do, what makes me feel good. Personally, I love to wake up early, 5:30 a.m. And my work starts only at 3:30 p.m. I drink a cup of coffee. I eat my proteins over there, whatever. I try to stay healthy and fit. I go to the gym, 90 minutes, put in my headphones, be in my zone, not thinking anything else. I breathe. When I come back home, I eat again. I research very early from 4 a.m. East, whatever happens in the market. I have another coffee. I eat again before the market, so like 3 or 4 times. And then I start working. When I work, it's like it's you and the market. Everything else doesn't exist. I don't care whatever happens out of this door. The work can collapse. I'm over here working. When I'm done, I have time for my relations. I have time for my friends, for my family. When I work, you have to be a fucking shark. Otherwise, market will eat you. And there's no pit in the market. No hands like, anybody will give you a hand. Oh, I'm going to help you. You are alone with your account, with your money. So this is the mentality.
I mean, basically, you're saying it all. And I tell everybody, I think that we got to get rid of bad habits as traders. Like if we smoke cigarettes and stuff like that, not trying to pick on anybody that smokes, but I think you got to get rid of all that. You got to you got to work really hard. And if you do have some sort of bad habits, you're really going to have to put that in a compartment. You're going to have to be able to control that. Me, I got hurt back in the Army. I ended up basically stuck in a chair for a while. When my daughter took her first steps, I could only sit up and look, and I couldn't even smile. That's how bad that day was. And from there, it was like really hard to see that my wife had to pick up more work around the house. Like she'd be mowing the lawn rather than me mowing the lawn. And I just told her, I said, I'm going to be a better man every day of my life. So, you know, I've worked to do that. I've quit a bunch of medications from the doctors cold turkey. And, you know, that's just what you need to do. You have to make that, you have to be a shark. Like you said, you have to make up your mind that you're going to fight through this, that you're going to get through, that you're not going to stop. Like if you feel like you've stopped, look back and see how far you came. And just because you messed up in that one situation, that one moment, doesn't mean that all that good work is gone. You know, it just means that we messed up once. That's pretty good. If we didn't mess up for the whole however long that was before there, we did pretty good. So it's always maybe like a reset. And then pain for me is like a waiting room. I say that, you know, whenever things are not going our way, whenever things in our relationships, you know, that's the waiting room period. And so we do a lot of our growing in there, you know. But yeah, just getting a little off track, but just you know, pushing through it, and like you said, just being a shark and making sure that we're here doing the right things and growing as an individual, not trying to fill our lives staying up late, not getting up early, not drinking water, instead just drinking a bunch of pop and whatever soda, you know, like I said, smoking a bunch of cigarettes and whatever it is. These things will knock you off. If I have a drink at night, you know, and I stay up a little late, I get up in the morning and I try to trade, I'm going to screw myself up. Or if I have the flu, or if I get sick and I say, I'm going to push through this, I'm going to trade anyways. Maybe in that case, we shouldn't, because I've screwed up big on those days as well. So is there anything that you would say, you know, to help people get that motivation to push past these things?
How want you bet things, you know? How much do you want it? Everything is about that, you know, is how much you can, I would say, sacrifice, how much you're willing to sacrifice, who are you willing to sacrifice? Because for what you love, often you will have to sacrifice people. I remember that I was working so much when I started back in early 2000 that I didn't have any relationship. You know, now it's funny because I'm married and everything. My father say, hey, you're not going out, you know, with any girl, like what's the matter with you? I know a boy of your age should do. And I had priorities, you know. Mine was already thinking about being successful at that age. And there will be a lot of people who are going to be on your way. There are people who are willing to take away from you what you achieved, or that they don't want you to have a success. Fuck that people. You have to surround yourself with people that will push your motivation, will be like a guide for you. Everybody has a mentor, you know, everybody has a mentor. And the point that the mentor has to give to you is unleash your beast inside. So make you reach limits that otherwise by yourself, you wouldn't be able to do it by yourself, or maybe it would take you just so much more time. So when you have like this kind of process around you, then you will take and get to things easier and quicker. So my point is, you have to love things in order to do it. You know, it seems so easy. Everybody says, I want to be rich. Oh yeah, wow, everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to earn 1 million per year or 1 million per month and do the minimum and have, you know, like a fancy house in Bali and a Lamborghini and whatever. Well, you know what? It will be hard. 99% of people will fail, not because they're not smart enough, because they're fucking lazy. So you can't do this if you're lazy. You have to work your ass off every single day. And in the hardest moment of your life, you have to push it even more. And when you have like a little bit of success, I would say, pay yourself. You know, you had a very good month in trading. Okay, bring out your wife. Give a gift to your daughter. Go to a fancy restaurant or one day in an exclusive hotel, because you have to taste a little bit about this. You have to taste about what you can get. That will create so much, I would say, energy inside you to reach your goals that is absolutely marvelous. So this is for me really what worked during the years.
Sorry, I had a comment here that YouTube was asking me if I wanted to share it. I said absolutely. I want you guys to be able to say what you got to say here. But so you had touched earlier on J lines, and you'd started to briefly talk about different things that you do in your strategy. I don't know if you want to take the remainder of our time to share anything, if you had planned on sharing your screen or anything. But is there anything that you can tell us, like, or show us that you would say is a sweet spot in trading on the chart? Like, what we got a straight spike in a penny stock. This thing is just, all you have is a big 5-minute candle, maybe with an upper shadow. You start to have it a little consolidation, looks like a bull flag. Now we got a cliffhanger where it's breaking off and it's no longer holding that bull flag formation. Do you look for a slow, drawn out consolidation from there? I mean, like, what is it that makes you willing to trade these, pretty much a lot of them garbage stocks, and it's true.
Yeah, POS, I always call them.
Right.
There are a lot of chart patterns that I like, so I have to be honest, right? And one thing that has like my copyright are the J lines. I started that back in the days. I was thinking 2003, 2004, but it was an Italian market. It was an European markets. I never have tried on the penny stocks. And then I've seen trying to back 2017, 2018, 19, they work pretty good, and it's not really the J lines themselves, which are just normal Fibonacci exponential numbers. I love mathematics, so that's a little bit of my passion. The point is how you use them with the chart patterns that really give me an edge. But for me, I don't want to make any kind of commercial myself. I really don't like that. I think that the point is everybody has something that could be his edge. Maybe you, Andy, could have like some chart patterns. Maybe I can have some. Maybe he can have others. And it really what works for you. I've been coaching a lot of traders during the years, and I've seen there's a trader very good in big caps, and he trades only certain patterns. In the same room, you will have another trader. He trades only small caps with different type of patterns. Then it will be who scalps, who swings, who day trades, who's a position trader. So you have to basically, I believe, find what your mind can do better. Maybe you're very good at basketball. Maybe I suck at basketball. I'm very good at, golf. So you have to find what works for you. That is, I would say, the reason why to have a mentor. Discover what you can do best, And please, traders, please, I don't know how many people will watch this. Don't ever follow alerts, okay? Alerts is for easy access, and you won't get any money. You can be lucky 1 or 2 times that, somebody calls Tesla and you trade Tesla. I do this, I call during the day, my trades, whatever, but it's about learning the process. It's about knowing what you're going to do. It's about learning how to fish, how they say. So don't follow alerts. Please don't do it, because I've been there. I was desperate, when I was making a lot of money, and then I moved to penny stocks. I wanted to make a lot of money as well. I was desperate that I even tried everything out there. You know what? I had just like bad results. So learn how to trade. Learn how to trade. We need smart people. We need traders. I love and I really estimate traders who are trying to make it by themselves or who are willing to learn. I don't really have respect for sheeps, because I think that people are like more intelligent than following just a simple alert.
That's it right there.
Is what I need to tell to everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Like I mean, you just put it in a nutshell the way that I feel. Any of these traders that are out here just wanting to follow somebody, follow alerts, get hand fed, whatever it is in the market that they're looking for. I don't even want you here. I'm sorry. I'm not to be rude. You're not what I'm here for. I'm here for what you just said. People that are willing to get up and I guess they say pick yourself up by your bootstraps, whatever it is, and just drive yourself and learn how to feed yourself. Learn how to do this on your own. If not, I mean, what happens when that guy leaves? I can tell you that every single what is it called? The Ape Movement, every single stock that's ever been something that somebody's called and said, do this with it, it's not ended well for a lot of the people, you know? So you got to know when to be there and know when to get out and no longer be sitting there, you know, waving that flag. But unfortunately, these things get a cult following. These people do. And then they wave this flag, even when the stock's dead and gone, and they're still waving this flag, telling people, come on, join me. And my mom always said, and I think my grandma always said too, misery likes company. So maybe that's what's going on there.
It's true. It's true, buddy. It's true.
But for me, I look at like what you were saying about J lines. I look at you know, I have the Bollinger Bands there. I now have the Keltners on the 4 hour. I have the 65 EMA is like I love that, the 65 EMA. It's beautiful. The 9, the 20, the 65, the 200, and even I know I'm ashamed of myself, but I threw this 365 on there a couple of years ago, and it's been doing beautifully on one particular chart. But you know, I look at these as road signs. They're just a figment of your imagination until they prove to be something. You know, like we don't worry about the road next to us when we're driving down a parallel. You know, when you know we're not thinking about that. But in trading, these lines are just there to give us an idea of what can happen, what might happen. Is that kind of how you use this as well? Like, I'm guessing if we're below your J lines or above it, if price is relative to the line itself, that you're looking to either go long, short, or are you looking for support and resistance, potential support and resistance at these levels?
Yeah, the Holy Grail is you. So whatever works for you. And I have a high win rate because I can really uncode what the market is doing very good. That's I would say, my niche. So understanding manipulation. Indicators or oscillators are just there to give us some help. So like a guide. We always, as humans, you know, need a help, need to rely on something, because we cannot think and believe that we are able to do everything. You know, there's always like this, I would say, non-self estimate of ourselves, that we think that something else will always help us more. EMAs are good. Moving averages are good. Keltner are good. Bollinger, MACD, stochastics, whatever, pivots. I have in my life, I believe, maybe 2,000 indicators between the MetaTrader, between the NinjaTrader, between the TOS, DAS, Realtic in Italy, whatever. I back tested everything on every fucking time frame, buddy. I lost maybe 3-4 years. So I know all the pros and cons of every single things, all the different combination of more things together. I'm a fucking encyclopedia on that, and I really can say it because I did it. I did my work. The point is, everything works, everything not works. So it really depends how you use it, right? Because, for example, you can use one indicator that I simply think, oh, for me, this is not really useful. Maybe for you, it's very useful because you use it in a certain way. So that's fine. Everything that helps is fine. The most important thing for me is really the chart patterns. You will see in the market the same chart patterns. You will see, for example, that often when Tesla opens, dips, and reverses, makes a certain like U pattern. Or you will see, for example, a lot of small caps, a lot of open near the pre-market high. And in the first few minutes, you will have like a pop and fail. So it's just like a blow up, where often chat pumps will call that breakout. They stop and then they reverse all the way down. And then you can simply, short all the pops. Or you will see a lot of traps, often lately with a higher float than 5 million. And they will have a really high volume. They will hold a dip, generally into the fib area in the first 30 minutes. And then they will have what I call the type manipulation 1. So I wrote like a manual about this in 2019, 2018. And I still see the same setup being, with time, still effective. And so for me, it's really about coding what the market is doing. Then you will have cycles, bullish, bearish, or what's called also sideways action. So in every single cycle, you will have some patterns that are working more or less. For example, I have made this pattern that is called gap and crab, and it's simply you have like a small pop and they simply fade all the way down. And this work is working from now February till now, but from October to January we had like really few ones of these. Why is working this much? Well, we also have like a sideways and a bearish market in the big caps. So a lot of these tend to gap and crab in the small cap, like, they're correlated. Before we had a bullish market, we had a little bit more runners. So it's really, for me, important to see which cycle we are in. Market is different. It's made in cycles.
So you just put it in a nutshell for all of our viewers. It's not about one particular moving average or anything. It's about whatever it is that you can, you're basically taking the market, you're taking that price action, and you're putting these brackets around it. This is where I don't want to be there if it goes here. This is where I would like to take profit if it goes here. And whether it's a pattern or a moving average or whatever it is, we can use that to create that structure to define a trade. And where the money is, I believe, and where success lies, is being able to stick to whatever rules and bounds that we put within that definition. Whatever our thesis, our plan was, if I don't want to be here, and all of a sudden I'm adding more money here, I'm not going to be a good trader, and I'm not going to be here very long. And I mean, great information. I think, you're right on the money. I can see why you're saying that you don't want anybody following you, and you're not interested in helping anybody else have people follow them in their trades. You're a real trader, and that's what a real trader is gonna say. It's not. I can't tell you where you need to get in at. You got to find, with your personality, what do you like and what works for you. Where can you create that definition, and then from there stick to your rules. I want to put something up here that says, remember what you're here for, dummy. Like who are you trading for? What are you doing? Like, I want to be able to help out family and friends, and my whole goal here is to be able to help more people. And if I'm over here playing around, which anybody that's been in our stream for a while knows, I like to play. I call it playing in the freeway. I do stupid stuff just to see what happens, just for fun. And it's like I need that sign more every day. I need that sign telling me, what are you here for? What is it that you're even sitting at this desk for?
Yeah, it's a pleasure of the battle every single day. And it's really you have to love the market. So getting over here to the market every morning, you know that it's a fight. You know that you don't have a steady paycheck. So this makes this job one of the hardest out there. You know that if you don't trade, you won't make money. But also at the same time, you know that if any day you don't have like a setup to trade and you're trading, you're just like over trading, not being disciplined, and you will lose money. So it's like in average, okay, Greeks used to say media partis. So the correct way is in the middle. The other thing is, if you want to be successful, you don't have to look like in the past what happened. Because if I look in the past and will say all the times that I fucked up, probably like, oh wow, I'm not gonna trade anymore. Instead, you have to, and this is a general example. Instead, you always look to reboot every single day. Whatever that happened before, you take as a new day. You plan your day, of course, after having back tested and know the data, so what's working, and then you're gonna trade like a brand new day. You need to feel like away from every single emotion, like we were saying before, and I would say the more analytical and systematic as possible. Why I'm a big believer of maths in trading, because the more you can, I would say, make a process systematic without your discretionary decision, the more this trading will be like, perfect. And this doesn't mean perfect, okay? This doesn't mean perfect will work every single time. This means that when you will lose, will be in your stats. Because you took a process, you took a chart pattern, and that chart pattern relies in the stats. So you will have, for example, let's say 60% win rate, and you know that loss is part of that 40%. And that's perfectly fine with what you want to do.
Yeah, I believe that perfect, what you're saying is just, that you're, like you said earlier, you're calm, you're in control, you're not overly excited, you're not worried, you're not getting anxious, getting your finger on the trigger. You know, that is where I found that I'm in control. And listening to you, it feels like the same for you, that there's a point where you're at an equilibrium where you're at complete control with your trades. And for me, it's when I do something stupid, like let myself trade if I'm sick, or just something that's out of the, or there's been mornings where I've got into a trade, it started to go wrong, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm starting to question myself and trying to recalibrate in the middle of a trade. I can't be recalibrating in the middle of a trade, but once I do that, I'm no longer in that equilibrium zone, you know? And I think that's what you're saying there.
Yeah. For me, it's really like have your mind in that correct mental state. If you have a quarrel, if you have a discussion, let's say with a friend, with a wife, with a husband, if you like run late, you're late at the trading station, so you're not prepared, don't trade. You're probably going to fuck up. And I've seen this like on my blood. So I need everything. I need things to be very boring. I need to be over here at the computer like 2-3 hours before, at least before the market starts. I'm lucky because I'm in Europe. So if I get over here even 4 hours before, that's still like 11:30, and that's fine, a.m. And the second thing is I want to be in my zone. No confusion. Close the door. Nothing happens. The Third World War, fuck it. I'm going to trade. You know, I'm going to be here. And that's really what gives me the mental state to trade. If I feel nervous, if my test that day, you know, my testosterone that day is like skyrocket, fuck, man, I'm not going to trade. You know, it's not like pumping in the gym. I know I will ruin something, and I need to be very, very over here, like with the mind, not with the muscles. So very important mental state. I had my cousin trading with me for a little bit of time, and we made a challenge. Okay, so he brought his account in 6 months from this to this. It was like 20 times his account, and I showed even, you know, the broker statement and everything. The point is, what he made in 6 months. Listen very good. He lost in 2 weeks. He made a huge amount of money, really a huge amount of money from a small account, trading 2 setups that I gave him. His life was perfect in that moment. He had no problems, everything fine with the girlfriend and whatever. He started having problems in his life, health issue, problems with the girlfriend, serious ones. In 2 weeks, his mind was lost all the account. Actually, it was my account that I gave to him. You know, he actually went from almost 2K to like 50K in 6 months, was sick. And then boom, 3 trades simply blew up. So that's to remind everybody out there about the mental state.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting really close to time, but if there's 2 things, I got another question from someone else that I would like to ask you. It's a little, hopefully you don't mind. They want to know what you would say about growing a small account, long bias only, $300 currently, has $100 to add to that account. What is it that you, not that you'd want them to do or tell them to do, but what you would do personally if you had a 300 able to make it $400 account right now today?
Okay, so I have to be always honest. $200 account is a very small account. If you trade a small account like that with margin, when you're down $200, you'll simply lose your account. And I see this a lot of in people doing cryptos. A lot of people trading margin, they're going to like blow up right instantly. The best thing for me would be 2 things. Personally, if I would be in your position, you're able to grow a small account. Remember, there's a guy right now, and he posted this day. His name is Zach. He doubled his account in 4 days. But wait, he's a good advanced trader. All right. So he's not a beginner. There's a big distinguish. I had a lot of traders building a small account and double or triple like, you know, a certain amount of time. But before doing that, they were already skilled because they did a lot of paper and trading, you know, even to make $5-10 a day and then losing $5-10 a day. With $300, in my opinion, you can do 2 things. Or you buy one stock and you're very lucky the stock goes skyrocket high, or you save the money and at least you try to have like $1,500 or $2,000. Because personally, with a $300 account, I won't trade. I've been there. My first account was 1.5K in lira. There were like 3 millions. All right. And I blew it up in 1 month because I didn't have knowledge at the time, 18, 19 years old. And so I probably save to have a little bit more money. If you want to practice, in the meantime, I would do like, a paper demo account in order for you to learn. It's true, you want to have learned the emotions, but at least you learn the strategy. And then when you have like the money, you will start trading very small. Let's say 50 shares for a $5 stock. And then you're like green 10 consecutive days, you're going to put like 100 shares. Of course, your average green day has to be around the same as an average green red day. So you cannot put with your broker a max dollar risk, let's say 3 times your average green day. That will kill you. And that's the error that beginners do. They maybe do like 20, 40, 50, 60 bucks in a day. And then they lose when they lose 200 bucks. No. If that day it's meant to you to fuck up, because you will, everybody does. The point is that professional traders know how to have a risk management and how to absorb the loss and not fight it. A beginner cannot accept to lose even 50 bucks because his amount is very small. So that's what will eat your account. And you cannot do this with a $300 account. You need first a lot of knowledge. Okay, that means starting like 2, 4, 6 months or 8 months, and then starting to trade with that. Is it possible to grow $1,500 account to a 30, 40, 50K? Yes, I have proofs. I did it so many times with members. One trader is not anymore in my room, but he's a friend. I train him. Big Daddy Deester, $500 account to 7.5K account in about 8 months. And now he's trading professionally. But he was trading options, and he was trading options after having already a good amount of knowledge. You cannot do that if you're a beginner.
Yeah, that you brought me into another thing. The only other thing, Jay, remaining would be, where can we send people to learn? Because we got more. You got so much more to say than what we can put right here in this one small 1 hour session. So where can people go to find you and to learn more?
Follow us on Jtrader Co on YouTube. We give free lessons. On Twitter, Jtrader Co. Also follow over here, Andy. And if you want to learn a particular way of trading, Jtrader Co. I'm sure you won't regret it, because 80% of the members that are with us from the beginning. So really, who wants to have success in life?
Right. And I really appreciate you joining me today, Jay. I would love to get back into this more later, because there's so many more questions, like stop losses, especially for beginners. And I mean, it just goes, there's so much we can't get into in this small amount of time. But thanks again, Jay. I really appreciate you being here with us, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Take care.
Yeah.
Order filled. Check us out.
I know what time it is.
This is the Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like,
If you with the squad, then you already know what's up. It be going down, but my account is going up. I'm about to make another 100,000 bucks. Rolling up that chain, I'm about to take another puff.
Hold up, I made a killing, now my pockets got swollen. Independent, now I'm taking over. I'm a lot richer, you a lot broker. I'm a pot smoker, stockbroker, blowing up like a supernova. On my mama, I was born a soldier, the best in the game, man. I thought I told you. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, I am unstoppable, I can do anything I ever wanted to. Never did anything they ever wanted me to. Got on my side and I'm not gonna lose and they not gonna win. I see them, the haters, it's all cause I'm getting dollars again. Commas on commas on commas, I'm buying the dip. The market is dropping again. I can see him hating from the sideline. If you see a hater, tell him bye-bye. Watch my money grow, 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 grow. And my wifey like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! Somebody better stop me cause there ain't no competition and I'm coming for the top position. Obliterating the opposition every time that I jot it in the composition. Everybody wanna stop and listen cause I bring it to you hotter than the oven in your mama kitchen. I be getting hit like a politician. I'ma get bread when he stack looking taller than Scottie Pippen. Ain't nobody ready for the Armageddon when I pop the clip and I ain't playing. I'm spraying you brain, I'm bringing the pain like Damon Wayne. You disappear like David Blaine. I'm dropping bombs, Saddam Hussein. Stop and aim, pop you lames and pop champagne. I ain't playing so stop the games, you know the name. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Alright, man, I'm out.